wondered what it would look like to feed 5,000 people? Anybody ever wondered that? In my mind, I just have this strange curiosity about what it would look like to actually feed 5,000 people. I need 12 volunteers right now to come forward. Speed and some sort of athleticism coordination would be handy. Welcome home. 1, 2, 3. You can stay down here. You're all right. 5. Where's your dad? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like it. 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. The 12 of y'all are going to go out this door where Stephen is, and you're going to find some trays in a room over there, some takeout trays. And what I want you to do is bring them in and just pass them out to everybody, okay? And then if there's more, when you're done passing them, if there's still more in that room, just come stack them on the stage. I'm going to be preaching. There's speakers in the hall. You'll be able to hear it. So y'all just go do that. Just stack them up here if there's any left over. Because I have this great curiosity about what it would look like if we fed 5,000 people. Turn in your Bibles to Matthew chapter 14. Don't let them be a distraction, okay? There's going to be a lot of busyness, but the Lord is going to be doing some busyness with us this morning. And so we're going to be reading all 4 accounts of the feeding of the 5,000. The first one is in Matthew chapter 14. We're going to start in verse 15. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. As you're getting your takeout trays, you're going to notice something like this on the top of it. Second story is in Mark chapter 6. Beginning in verse 35. By this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. "This is a remote place," they said, "and it's already very late. Send the people away so they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered, "You give them something to eat." They said to him, "That would take 8 months of a man's wages. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat?" "How many loaves do you have?" he asked. "Go and see." When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and 50s. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to his disciples and set before the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. The number of the men who had eaten was 5,000. Luke chapter 9. By now, the ones that have volunteered are probably wishing they hadn't volunteered. Just leave a space up here so I can walk around. Luke chapter 9. Late in the afternoon, beginning in verse 12. Late in the afternoon, the 12 came to him and said, "Send the crowd away so they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside and find food and lodging, because we are in a remote place here." He replied, "You give them something to eat." They answered, "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all this crowd." About 5,000 men were there. But he said to his disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." The disciples did so, and everybody sat down. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke them. Then he gave them to the disciples to set before the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. John chapter 6. John chapter 6, the story begins, or the part I'm going to read begins in verse 5. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered, 8 months' wages will not buy enough bread for each one to have a bite. Another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "Here's a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, but how far will they go among so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, and the men sat down, about 5,000 of them. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. When they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over, let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. Let's just begin imagining some of the problems with feeding 5,000 people. I want you to imagine, just imagine walking up to the counter at Burger King, and when they ask you, "Can I help you?" saying, "I'd like 5,000 Whopper value meals." We got a guy up here that works at Burger King. He just put his head in his hands and started shaking. Could you do it?
Maybe a day.
It would take a day?
Maybe half a day.
Half a day to a day. All right.
I know him. I don't think it would happen.
His brother says, "I don't think that would happen." Imagine going through the drive-thru at McDonald's and ordering 5,000 Happy Meals. Now, sometimes in my vehicle, I felt like we've done something similar to that when we order out. But 5,000? It would take a very large vehicle to put 5,000 Happy Meals in it. Much less the traffic that's going to be behind you and all the honking that's going to take place, because nobody orders 5,000 Happy Meals in the drive-thru. I want you to imagine walking to Cotton Patch, and when they ask you how many are in your party, you say 5,000. Yeah, and there would be laughter, and then you would have to explain, that's just the men. There's a bunch of women and children too. We don't know how many of those there are. Just imagine that all of a sudden, in the same instant, 5,000 people decided they wanted to eat at Leal's. Okay? Can you imagine how long the line would be to the bathroom? If you had 5,000 people show up at one place to eat at one time? I don't care how big the tip is, the wait staff is going to walk out. There's going to be no one there to serve you, okay? If you haven't figured it out by now, there's going to be about 5,000 takeout trays up here by the time they get done. And I'm preaching until they get done. So if somebody else wants to volunteer, you know. That doesn't bother me at all. Now, I didn't say when you're done, I'm going to stop. 5,000 people. And Jesus said, feed them. Did you notice that? The disciples come to Jesus and they said, look at all the people, send them away. Let them go somewhere else so that they can find food. Let them go somewhere else so that they can find a place to stay for the night, because there's a huge crowd. And Jesus looked right back at them and said, feed them. Their immediate reaction was to think about what they didn't have. Did you notice that? We don't have the money it would take to go buy food to feed all these people. We don't have the resources to be able to go and feed all the 5,000 people. Jesus wasn't looking for an excuse. He was looking for a little bit of faith. And so Jesus just simply says, feed them. You're doing good, buddy. And finally they say, all we have is a little bit of bread, 5 small barley loaves, and a couple of fish. And Jesus said, bring them to me. Bring them to me. With Jesus, a very small amount can go a long way. With Jesus, it's not about what you don't have, it's about what you do have. And so they bring this to Jesus, and he prays, and he starts breaking bread. Now, this is the part that I really want to see, is when he starts breaking bread, how it multiplies. But he starts breaking this bread, and the disciples begin taking what they have out to the people. And I want you to imagine, they obviously had at least 12 baskets, taking a basket of food that Jesus has blessed and broken, and taking it out to a group of people, this group of 50, and handing out the food. And, tossing bread or whatever it takes to get all the food handed out, and however long it takes to feed these 50 people from this basket that you have. And guess what? There's still 4,500 people. That's just the men who want food. And you're sitting here with an empty basket because you passed out all the food that you have. And if you notice what these guys are doing, and ladies, they have to keep going back. And so Jesus breaks it and divides it, puts it into these baskets. The disciples go out, but they have to keep returning to the source. Every time they take a basket out, the basket gets emptied, and then they have to return to the source. They have to return back to Jesus, and Jesus gives them more. And he gives them the amount that they need to keep going out. It doesn't have to be exactly on the stage. Y'all can use the floor, steps, whatever you need to. They're perfectly stacking, and it's going to fall. It's going to be funny, but it's going to fall. And so the disciples keep having to go back to the source. That is to Jesus, to get more food to take to more people. That's important. I also think it's really cool. I think in every gospel, I know at least in 3 of them, it says, and everyone was satisfied. Everyone was satisfied. That means everybody got all the bread and all the fish that they wanted to eat. Which means that I wouldn't have gotten a Happy Meal. I would have gotten the large amount, the large tray, the big tray. And for those of you that are hilltoppers that like to go to Umbarger, to that bar, and eat catfish on Friday nights, I want you to imagine, Charlie's laughing now, I want you to imagine 5,000 people showing up at Umbarger to go eat catfish and crowding into that place that won't hold 5,000 people, and everybody walking away full, satisfied. I've been to all-you-can-eat fish. I do some damage, and when I walk away, I always say, I ate too much. I think that's what happened. Jesus just is breaking bread, and they're passing out the food, and all these people are eating, and they are all satisfied. They all got to the point where they did not want a disciple coming by with another basket of food because they had plenty in their belly already. They were satisfied. I think that's an important concept for us to think about as well. I told you they were going to fall, and it would be funny. Now I want to turn from this story to our community. I want to turn and talk about Plainview now. I know some of you don't live in Plainview, and that's okay. You are not excluded from this, okay? I know some of you are visiting here from other towns. That's okay. You're not excluded. Everyone can be involved in this. But I'm going to use Plainview because that's where this building is located, and it just works out kind of cool. What would it look to feed 5,000 people in Plainview, Texas? Let's get it off the hillside where Jesus was, where there's plenty of grass for all these men to sit down, and let's talk about what would it look like to feed 5,000 people in Plainview, Texas. More specifically, what would it look like for this congregation to feed 5,000 people in Plainview, Texas? I'm going to use rough numbers. I started out trying to get a math degree in college. It didn't take me long to switch. So I'm going to use rough numbers. So if you're an accountant type, bear with me. This is preacher numbers. 5,000 people would roughly be 25% of the people that live in Plainview. Think about that. If this congregation fed 5,000 people, that would mean that we would have fed 1 in every 4 people living in Plainview. This congregation. By my calculations, which are based on me just trying to figure this out and no actual physical data at all, if we were to feed 5,000 people, and none of those people lived in the same house, everybody got an individual box, nobody got 2 of them, and none of those people that got a takeout box lived in the same house with another one, practically every house in Plainview would receive a takeout box. Now that's based on my rough calculations, which are not based on fact at all, but I'm not trying to figure it out. Every house in Plainview could be touched if this congregation fed 5,000 people. Let me break it down a little bit differently. If there are 250 people in this congregation feeding those 5,000 people, that means that it is the responsibility of each person to take care of 20 people. 20 people.
Just give me half plate.
How many do you think that you could feed 20 different people this year? I think so too. It's not that big of a deal when we think about it that way. That's less than one person every 2 weeks that you will be feeding, okay? Now, I've had plenty of time to think about this. I've been planning this since early November. And so I've had a lot of time to think of excuses and to think of reasons not to do this today. Here's one of my reasons. I can feed 20 people. That's not a problem. Angie can feed 20 people. That's not a problem. But you put us together, that's 40 people. And then we have 4 kids. And my 4 kids are probably about 250. Which means that there's 6 people in my household. And if each of us does our share of 20 boxes, that's 120. Which means that we need to be feeding about 2 people a week, more than 2 people a week, in order to feed 5,000 people. And I say that to point this out. This is not something that I want to do by myself. This is not something I can do by myself. This is something that we have to do together. And we all have to do our part, and we're all going to have to take our own share of boxes. By the end of the work, do you notice how quickly these guys started? They've slowed down a little bit. They're not as energetic. They're not as excited about the task. And I'm here to tell you, by the time we get done passing out all these boxes in Plainview, we are going to be tired as well. It's exciting today. It's kind of cool. I've seen a lot of you taking out your phone and taking a picture, and that's great. We've actually got a video running, so we're videotaping this whole thing. So if you want a copy of it, we can get that to you. But in about 2 or 3 months, you're going to say, I can't believe we've still got more boxes to pass out. Here's another fact for you. If 100 takeout trays goes out every week, 100 every week, it will be mid-December by the time all the trays go out. This is big. By the time I was beginning to prepare for this day, I heard a quote. Someone said, if your dreams and goals are such that you can accomplish them by yourself without God's help, you're not dreaming big enough. I think this is big enough that we're going to have some divine intervention. These boxes are not going to stay on the stage. It is your job. It is my job to pass these boxes out to Plainview. Not to fill with food, okay? You can if you want to. But this isn't to physically feed people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. If you want to take a pencil out and paper, you can. I've got some thoughts on what you can do because I want to explain it a little bit. And the first thing I want to say is pray. Pray. Pray about the person that you're going to give a box to. Pray specifically, by name. Not whoever this goes to, I pray that it helps them out a lot. But I believe that God has placed someone in your life that needs something in this box from you. Pray for that person by name. It may be your neighbors. It may be your coworkers. It may be your friends. Let them know that you're praying. Whenever you are ready to give them this box, after you have placed something inside it to bless them, I want you to write a note. And the note is simply going to say their name. Cash, I'm praying for you, Steve. That's it. And put that on top of whatever it is that you're going to bless them with, and then close that up. And don't forget to pray for them. Keep praying for them. So let them know. Let them know that you are specifically praying for them by name. And that this is a constant, ongoing thing that you do. The goal is not to pass out 5,000 boxes. The goal is not to get rid of these, to get them off the stage. The goal is to bless 5,000 people. This is an external activity, not an internal activity. Imagine if the disciples fed themselves. Jesus is breaking up all this bread and the fish, and the disciples, the 12 volunteers, are sitting there eating, staring at the 5,000. Wouldn't do them a whole lot of good. Wouldn't be what Jesus had in mind whenever he told them to feed the people. Angie and I could give each other a new box every week. Let it take care of 104 boxes. And perhaps we would draw closer through that, but we would have missed the whole point of the boxes. So this is an external activity. This is not for the person sitting beside you at Garland Street. It's not to pass out in your small groups. It's for you to go out into the community to bless others. This is a project for this year, not this week. Don't rush this. Some of you want to come up and get 20 boxes today and take them home. And tomorrow go out and just throw them out your car window to people saying, bless you, bless you, bless you. That's not the point. Spend time in prayer. Spend time in prayer, praying for people so that you know what to bless them with. Bless that person. Give them something they need. Don't give them the leftovers. Don't give them just a handout. Pray until you know what they need, and then give that to them. And then keep praying for them and keep blessing them. If you stop praying for them as soon as you hand them the box, that's not the point of this. I was sharing with the ladies' class my excitement about today and having a stage covered with boxes, and that's pretty cool. I wasn't telling the details, and they were kind of frustrated. And one of them asked, "You're not going to make us knock doors, are you?" And I said, "No. Because if I get you up to the door and I leave you there, we've missed a great opportunity. I want to get you in their house. I want to get you in their life so that you know how they can be blessed and so that you can truly be a blessing to them. So keep praying for them and keep blessing them. Remember, the people that ate on that day, they all ate until they were satisfied. They all ate until they didn't want any more blessed people in that way, until there's not anything else that they want. Get a journal. This is mine. My Christmas gift to each of my family this year was a journal. We're going to use this as we go throughout the year to talk together about how we can bless other people and who we can be praying for. In the next few weeks, I'm going to talk about the word bless. There's stuff that goes with each of those letters. The B is for begin with prayer. The L is for listen. The E is for eat. The S is for serve, and the other S is for sharing your story. We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to just tell you to go do this and not give you any help. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you understand what it means to bless someone. But get a journal. And what we're going to do, on each page as we write, we're going to write those letters, B, L, E, S, S. And we're going to write who we're praying for. And if we have a chance to listen to someone who's struggling, we're going to write their name and what we got to listen to. And if we have a chance to eat with someone, and for all of you that are still in school, all you kids, the cafeteria is a tremendous place to minister. Look for the people who aren't sitting with someone, who don't have regular friends that they sit with. Take the time to eat with them. If we have the time to serve someone, we'll write that down. And we'll just keep a record of how God is able to use us this year as we seek to be a blessing to other people. Get a journal, $6 or $7. Get a spiral notepad, whatever it is, but start writing about it, because at the end of the year, you're going to be amazed at what God has done through you. Talk about it. Small group leaders. I want to ask you to be talking about this in your groups. Asking your group leaders, your group members, who are you praying for? Helping them to brainstorm ways that we can bless other people. Ways that we can reach out to neighbors. Use this tool. Each week, ask them. Ask those group members. You'd be doing it as well. Ask them, who are you praying for? Who do we need to be praying for as a group? How can we as a group serve others? Group leaders, you might want to take a bunch of boxes to your small group. That might be your small group meeting, is figuring out what are we going to put in these boxes, who are we taking them to, and start praying for them. So it can be a great tool that way. Be creative. Be creative. Okay? I was sharing with someone what we were doing. They said, we can put anything in there? And I said, anything. You can be as creative as God will allow your brain to be creative. If it's too big to go in the box, bless them without the box. There is nothing sacred about these boxes. We got them from Mayfield Paper Company. Nothing special. The sticker I designed myself, and had a few people that helped me put all these together and put stickers up. They're not special. So if you've got what they need and you're going to bless them and it's bigger than the box, I can make you another sticker. You can put it on whatever it is you're going to give to them. That's fine, okay? And it doesn't have to be a physical thing that you put in the box. It might be a note. Give of yourself. Give of your time. If there is a single mom or a single dad that you're praying for, it might be a note that says, I would love to come over and watch your kids while you go shopping, or while you just go get away from the kids for a while. It might be a note to a young couple that says, we will watch your kids so that you and your husband or you and your wife can go have a date night together. It might be a note that says, I know you have difficulty with yard work, and I'd like to bless you by doing your yard work next week. It can be anything that will bless the person that you're going to give it to. This is a marathon. Keep going. This is not a sprint. We need to get out of the blocks at a pretty good pace, but this is a marathon, so keep going. Are you tired yet? I notice we've recruited more help. Are we done? Almost done?
There's better ways to keep us awake.
There's better ways to keep you awake during the sermon. Noted. This one's pretty cool. Finally, This is not a Garland Street thing. If you notice the label design, it doesn't say Garland Street on it. If all people learn about this year is Garland Street, we missed it. If they learn about Garland Street and not Christ, then we missed the point. In taking these boxes and going to your neighbor, in taking these boxes and going to your coworker, you are literally going to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ. He is going to be using you in a powerful way to bless someone else, just like He's already blessed you. Thanks, bud. So all those that were mean and blocked me out, Austin just shut me out. Now, I noticed something. All of the volunteers just walked away without taking a box for themselves. Oh, 4 or 5 of them held one up. This is not about going on the street. You're going to be the hands and feet of Christ. Point people in the direction of Jesus. Point them in the direction of Jesus. That's a lot of boxes. This is about 5,000. For those of you that are going to be disappointed if this is not 5,000, close your ears. When we ordered from Mayfield Paper, they said, here's some that you might want to try out, and they brought 2 different sizes other than this. So I've got 200 boxes that aren't folded yet because they wouldn't stack right. This is 4,800 boxes. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what God might do if we take these boxes to the community this year? You can take as many boxes as you want to take today. Come back for more when you run out. They'll be here. We'll have a room dedicated for them for a while. We filled up a classroom, by the way. Take as many as you want today. Begin praying. Begin delivering these. Begin blessing other people. The disciples looked at the crowd and they said, send them away. Let them go somewhere else. Jesus said, feed them. There are a lot of times when the crowds start coming in that my natural instinct is to say, send them away. Let them go somewhere else. It's time that we hear Jesus say, feed them. In every excuse that I've come up with, every time I've said, but Jesus said, feed them. And every time I gave him a reason that I couldn't, he blessed me with the ability that says, but I can. It's going to take a lot of faith. It's going to take a lot of courage. It's going to take a lot of those things that I prayed for at the beginning of this sermon. God has placed us in exactly the right place so that we can feed 5,000 people this year. Let's pray. Father, when you call us, sometimes we're filled with fear. We're filled with objections. We're filled with reasons we can't. And yet you still call us. Help us to be faithful to your call this year. Help us to be your hands and feet in real ways. Help us to go to our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers, those who are hurting, those who are needing your love. Remind us again of your blessings so that we can bless them. Father, help us to keep turning back to you over and over and over again. Help us to rely upon your Spirit to do the job that you've called us to do. Give us the creative energy that we need to bless others. For it's through Jesus that we pray. Amen. If you have a need this morning, maybe you're one of those that needs to be fed. One of those that needs to come to Jesus for the first time, and we certainly want to do that. These boxes won't get in our way. The baptistry is still open if you need to submit your life to Him in baptism. And we would love to do that for you this morning. If you need prayers this morning or help in any way, we are prepared to help you. If you're one of the ones that needs one of these boxes, come down. We'll fill it up for you. So if you have a need this morning, won't you come while we stand and sing this song of encouragement?
I admire